Okay, let's talk about the final steps, or really what I consider level 4, level 5, whatever you want to go about this one. Cardio. Basically getting a specific cardio piece for your own home gym. There's many options. Going to cover what I consider probably the big 5 when it comes down into cardio options on this one. Some we have here, some we don't, and I'll kind of give you the pros and cons of each one. So cardio is not one of those things that I recommend the very first thing people should buy, because 1, it is a little bit of an investment, and 2, in a lot of cases, you're going to get better results using resistance training, using bands and a suspension trainer, and just taking very short rest intervals than doing cardio. But you will come to a point in time to where, hey, it's an option that you want to consider, especially if you live up north where the weather isn't always conducive to you going outside and doing cardio. So let's cover the big 5, the pros and cons of the big 5. So the first one, everyone's most common one, at some point in time you've been on it, everyone's had one, which is a treadmill. Now obviously we don't have one here. Now treadmill, the pros about it. Pros are, there is a price range for you. They can be anywhere from free, people trying to get rid of them, to as expensive as $10,000, depending if you're going to those really elite specialized ones. The ones that you're running $5,000 and up, those are made for more sports-based purposes, guys. And I'm not going to really say that's something you should just invest unless you're going to be running the most ultimate man cave or she shed gym possible. So you're going to have the option ranges on this one. Now, when it comes down into this one, here's a couple things to consider when it comes to getting a treadmill. You're going to want to look for, if you're going to go new, make sure it's got a good warranty, something that the manufacturer and the store will cover on this one. You might be better off going at some used gym retail stores that buy, refurbish, and certify their equipment. You can get some decent, like Life Fitness quality treadmills and really pay about 30% less than it brand new. That's an option to consider. So take a look at the warranty, then also take a look at what's called the deck option. When you're looking for the deck, you want something that's got a good amount of give. You don't want it to have too much give, which really most don't, they would break, but you want to look for something that's got a little bit of give, typically a flex deck option. With that, it just means it's going to be easier on the joints when you're running or jogging or doing anything of that nature. So those are the things to take in consideration. Also make sure to take a look at the incline. How high of an incline will it go? I like to see things that go for an incline of 12, but incline of 10 will suffice. Anything less than that, I probably may not do that. And speed-wise, unless you really plan on really doing races, speeds of 12 miles an hour are plenty. In fact, most people will never really get over 9. So those are the things to consider. Now, what are the pros of the treadmill? The pro is there's always a price range for you for anywhere from $0 from free up to thousands of dollars. Most cases, for a decent quality treadmill, brand new, it's going to be $1,000, but you can probably find a lot of cases on Facebook Marketplace and a sporting goods store for a lot cheaper. They're always on sale. Now, what are the cons when it comes down to a treadmill? There's really 2 big ones to consider. One is the footprint. It takes up a large space. Even the ones that tend to fold up and you can kind of mount against the wall, they can be an eyesore and take up a large amount of space. So take that into consideration depending where you're going to put it in the room. The next one's going to be the noise. It can be freaking loud. Some of those motors tend to be very loud, and you can hear those things from across the house. And sometimes it's not even the motor, but it's the pounding of your feet. So if you're working out in a household that the kids are sleeping, the only time you can work out is about 5 a.m., you realize you may wake them up, and that may not be a good thing. So take that in consideration, that it could be very loud. But if it's a very cheap, and it's probably, in my opinion, one of the more cost-effective options to do, it is a great option to go with. It can do a lot. There's a lot of cool things you can do with it. Now, the next one we're going to have right down through here is what we can call an AirBike, which you see right through here. Let me actually bring the camera. Now, let's kind of go over an AirBike. Now, this is an AirBike, sometimes called a fan bike. Now, you're going to see a little bit more of these popping up. These were actually very popular not too long. You know, I would say back in the 80s, they were very popular. They kind of died out in the 90s, and they made this massive comeback with the formations of CrossFit. You hear all the, as soon as I lean on it, you hear they're ready to go. So when it comes down to a fan bike, things to take into consideration, the fan bikes, they're not made for endurance-based work. Now, I've seen people go an hour on them. Most workouts will be about 30 minutes. And with it is, you don't really get to build a lot of momentum with a fan bike. The fan bike gets its resistance from how much work you're willing to put in. You hardly put in any work, you're going to get very little resistance, but you're not going to get much return out of that. You put in a lot of work into it, it's going to push back real hard, and you're going to be sweating and huffing and puffing. So that's the thing to take into consideration. Cost-wise on the fan bike, you can be looking at anywhere from a brand new one run you about $600 Rogue Fitness has one, brand new one that's built amazingly well, brand new, $600. You won't see that come out used at the time of this video. This is an Assault AirBike. This runs brand new, about $600 as well. It does hold true to its name because you do feel like you've been assaulted after you get off the dang thing. And of course, Schwinn is another popular one that you'll see, which comes out. So Schwinn tends to be a little bit on the higher end. Now, you can pick it up for used. I've seen them used anywhere from about $500, even $350 on used for a decent quality fan bike. You know, what are the pros and cons to them? The pros, very small footprint, usually about 3.5 feet of space, doesn't do much. Also, very low maintenance. You really don't need to do a whole lot to it. Maybe oil the chain on occasion, wipe your sweat off, really about it. So that's actually a pretty good option for that one. The cons, it can get kind of loud, but not near as loud as a treadmill, depending on how much effort you're willing to put into it, because that fan will put off some air on that one. But really, here's the big con is it's hard as hell. It really will make you sweat, and it's one of those that humbles you every time. So if you're kind of new to this, it may not be the first option. Now, we'll talk about spin bikes in a second, but this may not be your first option for that one. But if you do find one for good inexpensive quality, someone's giving you away from one, it's a great exercise. Fantastic for HIIT work, not the best for endurance work, but fantastic for those HIIT works of anything that are very short, intense bursts of exercise. Number 3, I will admit I am biased to this next one. This next one is what I consider my personal favorite. It is the rower. And for those of you that are wondering, guys, if I'm zooming back, that is actually a picture of Wonder Woman that we had done not too long ago. So yes, if you're kind of zooming in and all we're seeing is a chest, I'm sorry about that, just camera angle right now. But let's talk about rowers instead. So we have a rower. We use concept rowers through here, and I'll explain why in a little bit. But the rower, I will be honest, I have a little bit of biasness towards, is in my opinion, out of anyone I'm listing for you, the best cardio piece that you can buy because, one, it is total body. The bike is total body too. But what this one is also good for is, what you're going to find is you can disperse the workload a little more evenly when the bike tends to burn up the thighs a little faster. And this is also not only built for short bursts, so you can do short workouts on this one, you know, seconds, minutes, for combinations of HIIT workouts, but this is also made for endurance work. I've seen people row marathons on this thing. You're a special breed of person if you're going to go do that. But this is fantastic for this one. Very low impact, total body work, a lot of different options on this one. I consider it probably, in my opinion, the best cardio piece of equipment that you can buy. So price-wise, what do you tend to spend on it? For a concept rower, which I'm always going to recommend concept. If you've ever been on a concept rower, then you use something else, you will notice immediately the quality difference, and you will regret not getting one. And guys, I'm not affiliated with concept rower in concept in any way, shape, or form. But a concept rower, brand new, can run you about $900. You can tend to find them used on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace for about, I've seen them go as low as $650. So you'll spend about $800, $750 on average for a used one. But the great thing is these things are made to go for a decade without really needing very little to any replacement parts whatsoever. 10 years and handle millions of meters of use. To put into context with a rower, which I'll be shooting several videos on rowers on down the road, it's not uncommon to go to some gyms and take a look at the usage and seeing about 50 million meters put on these things, and they're going strong. So they're made to go for a long time. So the pros of the concept rower: 1, it is pretty much, in my opinion, very much a total body exercise. 2, very low impact on this one. Con-wise, it is a large footprint. Guys, if we're kind of zooming back down again on it, it is going to take up about 7 feet in this cases. But for those people that have the option that can do this, you can't see it through here, but right in the middle where the seat and the handle meet, there's a lever that actually will cause these two things to break apart, and you can have 2 separate pieces for transportation, storage purposes, things of that nature. In my opinion, great option. If I had to list out anything that I'd always recommend for someone to get, they're going to get something, cardio piece of equipment, get a rower. Very quiet, but it is a large footprint. But if you use one, you get into it, you understand why. All right, let's talk about the 4th option here. The 4th option is going to be an elliptical. Now, obviously, we don't have one here on this one. So ellipticals, for those people, it's kind of like you go to the gym and you see an individual. It looks like a combination of a stair stepper and treadmill, and you see someone kind of skiing along this way. What is good about the elliptical is it's very, very low impact. You get to use your arms to get your whole upper body involved, very low impact, and this is great for people that if you're just recovering from a surgery or your doctor is saying, hey, avoid avoid running, avoid high impact sports. Sitting on a rower just doesn't sound fun to you right now. An elliptical is a good option. What are the cons of elliptical? One, it is really fixed. You can only do one thing and one thing only on it. And two, it does take up a large footprint. It does take up a good amount of space. The awesome thing I should say of Pro is it's very, very quiet. So if you're having to do this around kids, your kids really aren't going to know you're working out there in the next room. So that's something to take in consideration with this. Now, when it comes down to price-wise, be about $1,000 for a decent quality elliptical, but you can find some cheaper through some of the more, depending where you're at, the sporting goods stores that are buying and refurbishing ellipticals, you can find them cheaper for about $500 on. And of course, sometimes always check a look at Craigslist Facebook Marketplace. You'll find some that are a little bit more inexpensive that way. So I will say this is up front. If an elliptical, people that love elliptical, get an elliptical. If you don't love elliptical, it may not be the first option I would pick, because really elliptical is one of those that you love it and use it all the time, or you never touch it. So again, if you love it, go get one. There's gonna be your prices on this one. If you don't love it, then I would probably pick something else. And then the last option that you have when it comes down to cardio equipment is going to be, which we don't have here, we have a fan bike, a spin bike, something you would see at a spin studio. This one is geared for short burst of workouts, long burst of workouts, and if anyone has ever done a spin class, it's almost a cult following with how ingrained they get into the spin world. It is an awesome tool. There's a lot of good things you can do on this one. People think it's limited to just legs. No, I mean, feel free. Legs get hammered on the spin pretty hard, don't get me wrong, but you can incorporate a lot of band work and dumbbell work into a spin workout and still get your upper body pretty much taxed as well. Price-wise, what you're looking at on this one is anywhere from, I think anywhere I've seen them inexpensive ones, even brand new, about $200. And I've seen them go as much as $2,000 and more if you're going for the brands such as Peloton, which Peloton is a fantastic spin bike, has a lot of cool options. In fact, the spin world has been really expanding out their options from online classes that you can view from apps, or really even TVs that are displayed on the bike as well. It is a good option. Now, things to kind of take into consideration when it comes down to a spin bike. One, make sure you try it out first and it's adjustable. Two, make sure you can change out the saddle, the seat. And three, do you need the ones with an apps? No, you don't need ones with TV screens. In fact, with everything, you can have an iPad you can prop up on it, or you can have even a phone and prop on it for spin workouts. So the pros of it are it's become very versatile. There's a lot of different options for it. Another pro is very small footprint, and the third pro is very quiet. Those are all fantastic options. So especially if you've got kids involved, good option for this one. Con, you're going to have to get used to, you may have to get special shoes with the spin bike if you need to get shoes with clips. So that can run you about another $100 if you're in that area. Next one, the saddle. You're going to have to toughen your butt up and get used to doing that. So who is spin good for? If you love spin, get a spin bike. If you don't love spin, it may not be something that would be your first choice. I would recommend, if you don't know if spin's gonna be a good option, go take a couple of spin classes, not just one, because that first one's gonna hurt your feelings and how hard it's gonna be. You need to take at least about half a dozen to figure out, is this something you like or you don't. If you don't like it, hey, you know what? Save yourself some money. If you do like it and you want to invest one at your own place, go for it. You can see the ranges that go from there. So guys, those are what I consider the level 5 of what I would call, not really even level 5, level 4, 5, 10, whatever level you want to call it. This is what I consider the top tier level. This is the highest investment you'll probably have when it comes down into your home gym setup. And I've listed out what I consider the big 5 down through here. Take a look, see which one feels good to you if you're going to go this route. The purpose of this video was to give you a couple different options to consider, kind of some price ranges, where to go, and the pros and cons, and help you make that decision if you're going to be going down through needing a piece of cardio equipment. Not something I recommend first, again, but it's something that, let's be honest, it probably will happen on down the road. But if you have any comments or questions, hey, let me know. Just send us an email. We're more happy to chat with you about it and just help you pick it out and see what's gonna be best for you. But in the meantime, everyone, take care. I hope this whole video series helps you. Hope you got a lot of questions answered, and enjoy the process of building your own home gym. The great thing is you don't have to do this all at once. You can just pick up with a simple couple of bands first and spend about $50 on a set of bands, and that alone will do amazing things when it comes down to cardio and, of course, muscle building, and you can expand out from there. Enjoy the process, enjoy it. Don't think you have to spend everything at once, and we can go from there. But everyone, take care, have amazing workouts, and have an awesome time building your own home gym.